for us this afternoon. I'll let you know how long the milder weather is sticking around coming up in just a few minutes.
This morning, there are still a lot of unanswered questions about the Department of Justice investigation into the Albuquerque Police Department.
This after the federal government had a closed-door meeting with a very small and select group of people in town last night. News 13's Samantha McDonald is here with more. Sam, what did we learn about this?
Well, Matt, this investigation was launched by the DOJ after numerous police shootings, and now the feds say they're finishing up gathering facts. The meeting last night was for about 20 people who were invited exclusively, no media or uninvited guests allowed. Those in attendance tell us DOJ wouldn't directly confirm it had found problems, but they said we should expect a letter with findings. The next step is to come up with a federally mandated plan to fix those problems. People who went to the meeting say the DOJ wouldn't answer questions about when these changes would occur, but we now have a better idea of what the plan could involve.
It could call for further training. It could call for new procedures at the sites of police shootings so that there's an objective investigation into what took place. It could call for procedures for taking into evidence lapel cameras so that original copies of cameras can be accessed readily.
News 13 has also learned the feds are conducting multiple criminal investigations in this case. No word on whether any of them will lead to charges. Matt, back to you.
All right, thank you for the update, Samantha. We did talk with the mayor's office, and it says it'll not wait for the outcome of this federal investigation to decide whom to hire as Albuquerque's next police chief. Well, kicking other people's stuff and calling them names. It sounds like something you'd see kids do at a fight in a schoolyard, right? But one guy says two of Albuquerque's leaders did that to him at a city council meeting this week.
Don't step on my camera, please.
Keep your hands off me.
Don't step on my camera, please.
Charles Arasum, who frequently criticizes Albuquerque's police department, says he was videotaping the mayor's right-hand man, Rob Perry, right there, responding to some harsh comments about the city administration. When Perry saw the camera, he got up and he went toward Arasum. Well, Arasum claims Perry kicked his tripod not once but twice. Now, Perry says that never happened. Well, 20 minutes later, the problem spilled over to the parking garage, we are told, where the two got into it again. Arasum says that's when Assistant City Attorney Greg Wheeler stepped in and started calling him some very nasty names. Perry broke up that argument, and he admits, provoked or not, Wheeler here was out of line.
It's an unfortunate emotional response, and the city attorney will speak with Mr. Wheeler and we'll move forward.
Rob Perry says Greg Wheeler is not facing any formal discipline right now. Now, we asked for the surveillance video from the parking garage to see exactly what happened, but the city says it couldn't get it to us yesterday when the story originally aired.
Looks like New Mexico Education Secretary designate Hannah Scandera may never get her confirmation from the state Senate. Governor Susana Martinez nominated Scandera for the top education job 3 years ago, but every year since then, the Senate has failed to vote on confirming that seat. It was expected that they would finally do it this year, but Senator John Arthur Smith told the Santa Fe New Mexican he thinks it would be best not to, because this year, he says, is the last year of her current term and because the legislature has too many other things to deal with in the 30-day budget session.
The teacher in Rio Rancho who was suspended about a racial remark he made to a student is now back in the classroom. Christopher Roger, a black student at Cleveland High School in Rio Rancho, went to class dressed as Santa. One day last month, the teacher, we are told, asked why Christopher dressed up as Santa because the teacher said Santa is white. Christopher is not. The boy's father wanted that teacher fired, but the school district put him on paid leave instead. Yesterday, the district told us the teacher is back in the classroom and wouldn't say anything else about the case. A public funeral service for a 9-year-old boy who police say was murdered by his own mother is being held today. Police say Omari Varela's mother kicked him to death 2 days after Christmas. Yesterday, the family that once took care of Omari had this special service for him at the Macedonian Baptist Church in southeast Albuquerque.
He ran through the house screaming, doing things that kids do, and he was just a regular kid, and that's all he wanted to be. He was a good friend. He was a good family member.
Now, Omari's grandmother says there will be a public service tonight at 6 o'clock at the Riverside Funeral Home off San Mateo. A family private ceremony will go ahead on before the public one Omari's mother, Cynthia Varela Casals, is still in jail this morning on a $100,000 cash-only bond.
Well, there's more than one way, apparently, to block a horse slaughterhouse from opening up. At least that appears to be the way it is going for the Valley Meat Company. A hearing officer is now asking the State Environment Department to deny the Roswell plant a wastewater permit. Valley Meat Company and the groups trying to block it from opening now have 15 days to respond before the Environment Secretary decides whether to renew the slaughterhouse's permit. If you have driven on Central in Albuquerque, you've probably noticed the dilapidated old De Anza Motel. Well, don't expect it to look any different anytime soon. Developer Rob Dixon has walked away from a plan to redevelop the old motel on Central in Washington. Dixon, who redeveloped the old Albuquerque High School campus, wanted to make or remake the hotel with a 1958 design. But the National Park Service, which has approved tax credits for the project, wants something more current. Dixon says that would be too expensive, so he's done with it. The city, which owns the De Anza, is now looking for a new developer.